If you watch carefully what I'm doing and you listen to my explanation, you'll be able to make this beautiful gown even when you never know how to sew before. Hello beautiful people, welcome back to my channel. It's Grace here. In today's video we are going to learn how to make this sexy gown, beautiful gown from start to finish. I actually want to make this for my mom. This is a young people gown, but I just want to make something nice for her. I don't know if she will like it too, but I'm just taking a risk to make it for her because she is already up to market. Just want to surprise her when she's back. So please consider subscribing and let's get into the video. All right, this is the material that she has, a flower satin, and I'm going to be creating the same style for her. This is the starting point, which is also her shoulder line. This second line is her bust point, and the third line there is her hip point. From shoulder to bust is 10 inch, and from shoulder to the hip point is 23 inch. We are going to input the length of this gown, which is 53 inch. She's not too tall, so 53 inch, it will be including her seam allowance. All right, so at this folded edge, I'm inputting half of her shoulder measurement, which is 8 inch. Okay, at this bust point I'm going to input quarter of her bust point measurement. Okay, also at the hip I'm going to input quarter of her hip circumference. Okay, when I input that, I notice that the hip and the bust is the same, which is supposed not to be so. So I'm dividing the bust circumference. I discovered that I actually make mistake. So I want to mark exactly the bust circumference, quarter of a bust circumference, I mean. So if your bust is 40, quarter of your bust circumference is 10 inch. That is what you're supposed to mark. This is the shoulder measurement, this is the bust point, and this is the hip point. So at this um bust point I'm adding 2 inch for ease allowance. You can decide to add 1 inch for the ease allowance. Like I said earlier, I'm making this dress for an advanced woman, so I don't really want it tight on her. I'm also adding 2 inch at the hip point for ease allowance. For the shoulder line, I add no ease allowance. It's exactly the shoulder measurement, which is 8 inch. So we move on to add at this bust point we add 1 inch for stitching allowance. I also add 1 inch at the hip for stitching allowance, but we have not add any stitching allowance for the shoulder. Okay, I failed to tell you to determine the amount of fold that you need for this gown. You add your sleeve length to your shoulder length. So for her, the length of the sleeve is 12 inch. So from the that is the amount of folds that I have. So for the shoulder I mark that point, that edge, and I connect it down to the bust point. So I'm even extending this coming down by 1 inch. That is how open I want the sleeve to be. You can decide to maintain the bust point as the sleeve open. You can even decide to mark 8 inch for the sleeve open. That is, you go up at the bust point for the sleeve open. It all depends on what you want. So from this bust point I'm connecting it on a line. I'm connecting it back to the hip point. I'm also sloping her shoulder by 1 inch. For the depth of my back neck, I mark 3 inch. I'm going to adjust it. You still see it at the cost of making this gown. Okay, and for the width of the neckline I'm making use of 3.5. Then I connect it this way. So I'm going to connect this neckline down to that shoulder slope line, that 1 inch that we come down with. So we are connecting it this way up to this neckline, the edge of it, and that will form our shoulder slope line. Okay, our shoulder is not straight, so you need to slope it in order to have fine fitting. After that, I'm curving this armhole like this with a slight curve. You blend it like this. And I'm going to measure what I have, including the sewing allowance and the east allowance. Place that same measurement at the hem of this gown and connect it. You can see the line is actually long, so I'm placing my tape straight up to mark exactly that line so that I will have the same measurement. So I'm marking that point. Sorry guys, this material actually give me tough time because the chalk is actually chalk out in this material. The chalk actually mark out the lines I want for me. So after that is done, you can see me cutting. This is the aim of it. I even added extra 1 inch because I prefer my dress to be longer, or maybe later I trim it off, than to run shortest of material. So this is me cutting it out exactly. I've cut up to the hip point, and now we are up to the bust point. You can see us curving it. That is the armhole. So, and this is the sleeve opening. I'm cutting it out. Okay, when that is done, I felt it's too much for the back, so I come up by half an inch. I come up by half an inch and connect it. I'm cutting off the shoulder slope line. After which I'm pinning it. I'm actually pinning it so that it will not shift. I will use it as a pattern to get my front piece. So after folding my material, the front piece, this is the side piece. I'm trimming off exactly what we have at the side piece, using the back piece as a pattern to cut my sides front piece. And when that is done, you can see we have 4 pieces. So this is the aim of the gown. I'm cutting exactly what we have. But for the center front, you can see this one on top is the back, while the one underneath is the front piece. For the front piece, we added 1 inch extra because this dress has a slit at the center front. Okay, so you need to add this 1 inch later, and it also has like a kind of slit at the top of the neckline. So this 1 inch will help us to achieve that. For the front, I'm dipping my neckline for the front by 1 inch. You can see me curving it this way. I'm going to be cutting it out. Yes, I'm cutting it out now. This is for the front neckline. The depth of the front and the back supposed not to be the same. The depth of the back is not always the same. So from the front neckline, I'm marking the slit point. Okay, I'm marking how low I want the slit to be. You can decide to mark 3. You can decide to mark 4 inch. I think the minimum you should go with is 4 inch. You can even decide to mark 6 inch if you really want it to be low. And this is me trying to cut out my front facing. Guys, I actually make mistake in this front facing, but I will be correcting it later. This my front piece, I supposed to join the 2 piece. You know, the front piece is 2. I supposed to join it at the center of join it at the center area, then before cutting the facing. The facing for the front supposed to be 1 piece, not open, but here I cut open, so I will be correcting it later. Okay, cut yours unfold and follow the same pattern I'm cutting this my facing, and cut your facing. You can see from the slit area, I also indicate the slit area on my facing, and from there I'm going to come down at least 3 inch from that slit area and curve it like this. For the shoulder, the distance from the neckline to the shoulder line should be at least 4 inch. You curve it like this and you cut it out. Guys, please try to cut yours on folds. After stitching everything, I have to loosen it, join back my facing, which I supposed not to do so. You see, I have to, instead of one. I will be correcting it later. For the back, I want to pipe my back as a form of bias. So I've cut out 1 inch for the cutting. For the front, place your facing, right side facing each other and stitch it down. But for the back, after stitching it down, you can see me folding it this way. I will stitch it down. Front, I've stitched down the slit area. I even top stitch on it, which I will loosen it again. Oh my god. So after top stitching, I have to stitch down round the neckline. That is exactly what you need to do even when you cut your facing on or as one piece. Stitch down the slit area face and top stitch before you stitch the neckline. Okay, so after that is done, I'm going to take note of my slits, where my slits stop. I'm joining it at the shoulder line by 1/2 inch. I place my front on top of my back and join the shoulder by 1/2 inch. When that is done, I'm going to fold the sleeve area like this and stitch it down. I'm now aligning my front piece like this. This is what I supposed to do before I even cut the facing, joining the center front together. Like I said, I'm going to correct my mistake. You know, we added 1 inch, so I'm actually marking that 1 inch out because I will be stitching on that area. I will be stitching it, but at the same time I'm going to take note of where my slits will stop. Okay, the small slit at the neckline and that of the hem of it. So like I said, I corrected my mistake. I told you. So when that is done, I'm going to join the side seam by 1 inch. We added 1 inch. I will also join the other side by 1 inch. Okay, so at the top of this, or at the shoulder line, I'm marking down the waist point because of the snatch effect, or the rope that will be attached to this gown to snatch the waist. So I'm marking our waist point, which is 16 inch. Okay, and from the center, from one center, I'm marking our bust span measurement, which is 4.5. Normally our bust span is 4 inch, so I'm adding 1/2 inch to it, and that is why I mark 4.5 inch. If actually I'm sewing this dress for myself, I would have marked 4 inch, because the distance from one of my bust to another is 7 inch, and that 7, when you divide it into 2, you have 3.5. So I add 1/2 inch, which is supposed to be 4 inch, but because this is not my dress, bust span measurement is 4 inch, or let's say it's 8 inch. We divide it into 2, which is 4, and we add 1/2 inch to it. This is the rope that will be attaching to the waist of it. So I will be, the length of this waist is totally a one of the rope. Make sure that one of the rope is half of our waist circumference. Yes, one of the rope should be half of our waist circumference. The length of the rope should be half of our waist circumference. So you are going to place it like this and stitch it down. And when that is done, okay, you are joining the side seam by 1 inch. Remember, we added 1 inch. And you fold the hem of your gown like this. After folding the hem of the gown, you can see me placing my tape. I'm going to take note of the slits, the center front slit. I don't want it too high because I'm making it for advanced woman. Okay, if actually I'm making this dress for myself, I would have made the slit to be a little bit high. So it all depends on what you want. Before you loosen this part off, try to tack it, tack where your slit will stop before you loosen it, so that it will not loosen all the same allowance. So when that is done, look at what we have. I'm going to press it, iron it flat, and after that I will be putting it on the mannequin for you to see. Guys, this gown is very simple to make. If this video is helpful, do not fail to mash the like button, subscribe to my channel, and see you all in my next video. Bye.